Hello, Haley from Wicked Wix here, browsing Reddit so that you don't have to. That's right, this is one of the subreddits called Irene, so /r/Irene, where people have posted pictures. Now, one of the things that, when a hurricane comes in, there's lots of, publicity is the wrong word, but, that sort of thing about, like, the damaging winds and, the storm surge and stuff. And one thing that they don't isn't given enough publicity. Again, I can't think of a good word, is the inland flooding, as some of these pictures are going to show. So someone lost their roof. Now, I can't really tell how deep that is because I'm not familiar with the area, but, oh no, that might be the top of a door, maybe. It's probably pretty deep. And that looks bad. And that, to me, that makes it look like it's AstroTurf or something fake, because it just, ripped up like it's one big, shaggy, green carpet. That's something nasty there. That's, 2 feet of flooding? I'm not sure. And that looks bad. So, you can, of course, go there yourself to Reddit, and here was something else that was posted that I thought was interesting. Cyclone Yasi apparently was Australia's big cyclone. I guess they don't call them hurricanes in the South Pacific. But anyway, here was something interesting. Now, Hurricane Irene was at one point, I believe, a Category 4, so I guess they're basing this on when it made landfall. What category it was, I'm not sure about that. But look at the size difference. Katrina and Yasi, I don't know how large they are on a cumulative scale, but, compared to all the big hurricanes of the world, but look at that huge thing. So, again, I'll scroll up. I said, like, Aussie here. Yeah, Aussie here. I found a comparison between Irene, Katrina, and Yasi, which is us in our summer. Right, so, you can browse that yourself. On your own time or something. Here, let me move that back to center. So, no major earthquakes yesterday, but, lots of, what is it? So that's Puerto Rico, I think. Alaska is always showing up. California also always shows up on this list. Here are the current national weather hazards, as you can see, flooding. And yesterday, I believe this line was broken, so that must have just been a glitch. So this is flash flooding warning all up and down the Missouri. Here's a heat advisory, here's a heat advisory. Here's a red flag warning, that's a fire-related warning. There's excessive heat warning. Here are the people, of course, who wish they could get a hurricane. And here's, apparently, Irene is done dumping buckets of water. This is the next 5 days. Apparently, eastward off the coast of Texas will get some rain. So, not what, well, I mean, that might help somewhat. I don't know. And, now, let's see. At the beginning of when I started staring at this, it would be about 60 locations in flood. And it was all of this stuff related to, like, the ice melting off and, causing all kinds of terrible flooding. And I believe it got down to 40 before the hurricane. Now there are 124 gauges that have some sort of flooding. 19 of which are in major flooding. Now, if we zoom in, we can actually look at let's look at this. You just click on one of them and it'll show you, like, historically. So, to give you an idea, what is that? It was at, 1.2 feet. That's, okay, it's apparently in feet. And then at 22. That's just insane. That's what the hurricane brings, is lots and lots of water. So here's today's severe weather outlook. Slight risk back west, slight risk out east. Here are the specific probabilities of severe wind. 15%, 5% over there, 15% over there. Here are the specific probabilities of hail. And here is your chance of a tornado is out west today. So Colorado, Wyoming, Nebraska, but watch your backs for tornadoes. Here's tomorrow's confusing map because it's showing lines. Who knows what they even mean? So we switch over to the severe weather. probability map where it's easier to say that the 5%, 5%, 5%. As of now, you know, all these maps change, you know, every time the forecast models get run or whatever, get the supercomputer crunching stuff and things change. I don't know. 20% chance of tropical cyclone formation in the eastern Pacific. Over here we have the remnants of Jose, and apparently Irene is just gone, or possibly because it's in Canada we don't care anymore, I don't know. And we have Tropical Depression 12, which is slated to become a hurricane. And I believe it to be Hurricane Katya. And I looked it up. And if it's Russian, it's spelled with a Y, and like everybody else's, it would be Katia. That's probably not how they pronounce it. But I am going, if it turns into Hurricane Katya, I am going to pretend it is the Russian name. And do the forecast in Russian, I don't know. So here is future Hurricane Katya's path. And here is the model. This is the GFS run for the next 8 days. So here is Tropical Depression 12. Now, if you watch this, so you see it's spinning up, and watch like the circular things. This is what we saw with Irene, where it got lots and lots of wrapping, I guess, of and I don't know what the 20 means, but look, and then it just goes crazy. So that is where they don't have as much, detail. But you can see up to there, and then at some point it just, like, yeah, there. Now it's jumping in like 12-hour increments. I'd have to look. But anyway, so based on this run, it looks like that could end up being a pretty impressive hurricane. Hurricane Katya. But it will not hit United States much. Based on this run. You know, this is 252 hours out. So, obviously, as things progress, you know, they will know more, and maybe it go away. And look, that could be something out there, too, that will also... and then that's it. That's the end of the run. That's what, 8 days from now, 384. We do this, 384 divided by 12. That's... Oh, that's not right. 24. That's 16 days out? I don't know. I'll have to verify that. Anyway, you go to wickedwix.com. It is WICKED, wix.com. You have fun now.